Navigating a diabetes-friendly diet can often feel like quite a balancing act, especially when you start thinking about how those healthy foods might interact with your medications. We all know vegetables are a cornerstone of good health, but it might surprise you to learn that some can actually interfere with glucose-lowering drugs. So in this article, we're going to shed some light on 8 of these vegetables. We'll explain those potential interactions and, importantly, offer some safer, delicious alternatives to help support you on your journey. Top 8 vegetables that may interfere with diabetes medications. Number 1, white potatoes. All right, coming in at number 1, we have white potatoes. Now, white potatoes are a staple in so many diets, but they can really affect your blood sugar levels because of their high glycemic index, or GI. You see, foods with a high GI are digested and absorbed super quickly, and that causes a fast spike in blood glucose. This rapid increase can be especially tricky for folks managing diabetes, as it puts extra strain on the body's ability to make or use insulin. So if you're taking diabetes medications, this quick rise in blood sugar can actually work against what your treatment is trying to do. Take metformin, for example. That's a common medication prescribed to lower glucose production in the liver and improve insulin sensitivity. It might have a tough time managing the glucose surge from high GI foods like white potatoes, and it's a similar story for sulfonylureas, which encourage the pancreas to release more insulin. They might get overwhelmed, or the timing of the insulin release might not quite sync up with that glucose spike, leading to those unwanted fluctuations. But don't worry, there's good news. There are definitely better alternatives out there with a lower glycemic impact. Sweet potatoes, for instance, when eaten in moderation, offer more fiber and a slower release of glucose. And have you tried cauliflower mash? It can be a surprisingly satisfying stand-in for mashed potatoes, giving you a similar texture with way fewer carbs. Turnips and other root veggies like rutabagas can also be cooked up to mimic potato dishes, but with a much gentler effect on your blood sugar. It's also worth remembering that how you prepare potatoes can make a difference in how they affect your glucose levels. Generally, boiling or steaming is better than frying, which just adds unhealthy fats and calories. And here's an interesting tip. If you cook potatoes and then let them cool, it can actually increase their resistant starch content. This resistant starch isn't fully digested in your small intestine, so it has a less pronounced impact on your blood sugar. Pretty neat, huh? Number 2, corn. Next up, at number 2, we have corn. Corn is something many of us enjoy, especially at summer barbecues or as a simple side dish. But if you have diabetes, it's another vegetable to be aware of. Its main impact on glucose levels comes from its high starch content, which, as you know, the body converts into sugar. Now, corn does offer some fiber and nutrients, but because it's so dense in carbohydrates, it can cause a noticeable rise in blood sugar if you're not eating it mindfully. And this effect can be particularly relevant if you're using certain types of diabetes medications. SGLT2 inhibitors, for example, work by helping your kidneys remove excess glucose from your body through urine. If you eat a lot of carbohydrates from sources like corn, it can increase the amount of glucose your kidneys have to process. This could potentially strain that mechanism or lead to less stable blood sugar control. It's a similar situation with GLP-1 receptor agonists. These medications enhance insulin secretion and slow down how quickly your stomach empties, but their action might be challenged by a rapid influx of glucose from a big serving of corn. So, what can you do if you enjoy corn? Well, portion control is really key here. Limiting yourself to a small ear of corn, or about half a cup of kernels, can help lessen its impact on your blood sugar levels. Another good tip is to pair corn with protein and non-starchy vegetables, as this can also help slow down glucose absorption. And for those corn lovers looking for alternatives, there are plenty of vibrant and tasty options out there. Think about green beans, bell peppers, zucchini, and leafy greens like spinach or kale. These can all provide satisfying textures and flavors in your meals without that high starch content. Plus, these alternatives offer more fiber and fewer carbohydrates, which is much better for stable blood sugar management. Number 3, pickled vegetables. Moving on to number 3, let's talk about pickled vegetables. Things like pickled cucumbers, onions, or peppers are often loved for that tangy flavor and crunchy texture. However, a big concern with many commercially pickled products is their high sodium content. This sodium is used in the brining and preservation process, but such high levels can be problematic for individuals with diabetes, who, as we know, are already at an increased risk for high blood pressure and cardiovascular complications. Now, this high sodium content in pickled vegetables can indirectly interfere with your diabetes management and medication. Some diabetes medications, or even medications you might be taking for related conditions like hypertension, are designed to protect your cardiovascular health. A high sodium diet can work against these benefits by raising your blood pressure. What's more, a significant sodium intake can affect the fluid balance in your body, and this could potentially interact with medications like thiazolidinediones, or TZDs, which can sometimes cause fluid retention. So, while it's not a direct interference with how your body lowers glucose, managing your overall health, and that includes your blood pressure, is absolutely crucial in diabetes care. It's also true that the absorption and effectiveness of certain medications can sometimes be influenced by the overall composition of your diet. This includes your electrolyte balance, which too much sodium can certainly disrupt. While specific interactions can vary, it's always wise to be cautious. Medications that affect kidney function or blood pressure are especially important to consider when you're thinking about a high sodium diet. But if you love that zesty flavor of pickled items, don't despair. Fresher alternatives can be just as satisfying. Why not try making your own quick pickles with less salt? You can use vinegar, herbs like dill, and various spices for flavor. Fresh cucumbers tossed with a little bit of vinegar and fresh dill, or perhaps lightly blanched green beans with a squeeze of lemon juice and black pepper can offer similar taste profiles without that excessive sodium load. Number 4, tempura or fried vegetables. At number 4, we find tempura or fried vegetables. While vegetables themselves are inherently healthy, the way they're prepared can drastically change their nutritional profile and how they impact your blood sugar. Tempura, which is a Japanese dish where vegetables are battered and deep fried, and other similar fried vegetable preparations, really change their glycemic impact. You see, the batter adds refined carbohydrates, and the frying process introduces a large amount of unhealthy fats. This combination can lead to a sharper and more sustained rise in blood sugar levels compared to eating the same vegetables prepared in a healthier way. This change is a real concern for diabetes management, especially when we think about certain medications. For instance, thiazolidinediones, or TZDs, are a class of diabetes drugs that can sometimes cause fluid retention and weight gain as side effects. Consuming high-fat meals, such as fried vegetables, can actually make these issues worse, making weight management more difficult and potentially increasing cardiovascular risks. Those added calories and unhealthy fats really work against the health goals that are often set for individuals with diabetes. Fried preparations also create challenges for medications like sulfonylureas. These drugs work by stimulating the pancreas to release insulin. The unpredictable and often high absorption of carbohydrates and fats from fried foods can make it difficult to match insulin release with glucose absorption. This can potentially lead to fluctuations in blood sugar, including risks of hypoglycemia if a meal is heavy in fat but slower to digest carbohydrates. The good news is that healthier cooking methods are readily available and can make vegetables both delicious and diabetes-friendly. Roasting vegetables with a little olive oil and herbs brings out their natural sweetness. Grilling adds a wonderful smoky flavor without needing heavy batter or excess oil. Steaming is great because it preserves nutrients and results in a tender texture, perfect for a light seasoning. And don't forget air frying. It can also provide a crispy texture with significantly less oil than deep frying, offering a much more suitable option for enjoying vegetables without those adverse effects. Number 5, canned vegetables with high sodium. Coming in at number 5 are canned vegetables with high sodium. Canned vegetables are super convenient and have a long shelf life, which makes them a pantry staple for many people. However, a lot of canned vegetable products contain high levels of added sodium, which is used as a preservative and flavor enhancer. This hidden sodium can negatively impact how well your medication works and your overall health if you're managing diabetes. We know that high sodium intake is a major contributor to elevated blood pressure, and that's a common concern for people with diabetes who are already at a higher risk for heart disease. The impact of sodium on medication effectiveness is particularly important for those on blood pressure medications, which are often prescribed alongside diabetes treatments. A diet high in sodium can counteract the benefits of these drugs, making blood pressure harder to control. For patients taking multiple medications, which is a common scenario in diabetes management, the cumulative effect of dietary sodium on overall health and medication efficacy becomes even more critical. It can also potentially influence the body's fluid balance, which might affect how some diabetes medications are processed or tolerated. So how do you spot this hidden sodium in canned products? It really comes down to careful label reading. Look for terms like low sodium, reduced sodium, or ideally, no salt added. Comparing different brands can reveal significant differences in sodium content for the exact same type of vegetable. Another tip is that rinsing sodium-packed canned vegetables under running water before you use them can also help to remove some of that excess salt. Of course, the best alternatives are fresh or frozen vegetables, as they typically contain little to no added sodium. If you do use canned vegetables, make sure to actively choose those low-sodium versions. And when you're preparing meals, try to focus on flavoring your vegetables with herbs, spices, lemon juice, or vinegar instead of relying on salt. This helps in managing your sodium intake effectively and supports both your diabetes and cardiovascular health. Number 6, starchy root vegetables. All right, number 6 on our list is starchy root vegetables. Beyond the commonly discussed white potato, this category includes items like parsnips, yams, which are distinct from sweet potatoes, as sweet potatoes generally have a better glycemic profile in moderation, and taro root. While these vegetables do offer nutrients, they are also quite dense in carbohydrates. These carbohydrates convert to sugar in the body and can cause significant spikes in blood glucose levels if you eat them in large quantities. Their impact is pretty similar to that of white potatoes, making them a category to approach with caution if you have diabetes. These starchy root vegetables can indeed interact with the efficacy of certain diabetes medications. For example, metformin works to lower glucose production by the liver and improve insulin sensitivity. A large influx of carbohydrates from starchy root vegetables can place a higher demand on metformin's action, potentially blunting its overall effectiveness in maintaining stable blood sugar levels. Similarly, DPP-4 inhibitors, which enhance the body's natural incretin system to increase insulin release and reduce glucagon after meals, may be less effective if the carbohydrate load is excessively high, as the system might struggle to cope with the rapid glucose rise. Timing can also be important when you're incorporating these vegetables into your meal plan alongside your medications. Consuming large portions of starchy root vegetables, especially close to the time of taking medications designed to control post-meal blood sugar, might lead to more pronounced glucose spikes. It's generally beneficial to spread your carbohydrate intake more evenly throughout the day rather than concentrating it all in one meal. Therefore, portion control strategies are crucial for minimizing interference. If you do choose to include starchy root vegetables in your diet, be sure to keep your serving small. Pairing them with ample non-starchy vegetables, lean protein, and healthy fats can help slow down the absorption of sugar and lessen the glycemic impact. And, as always, monitoring your blood sugar levels after consuming these vegetables can give you personal insight into how your body responds. Number 7, vegetable juices. Next, at number 7, we have vegetable juices. Vegetable juices are often marketed as a quick and easy way to boost your nutrient intake. However, the process of juicing vegetables typically removes most of their beneficial fiber. And fiber, as we know, plays a crucial role in slowing down the digestion and absorption of sugars into the bloodstream. Without this fiber, the natural sugars present in vegetables, even those considered low sugar like carrots or beets when they're juiced in quantity, can cause a more rapid increase in blood glucose levels than if you ate the whole vegetable. This rapid absorption of sugars can impact medication absorption rates or their effectiveness, particularly for drugs designed to manage those post-meal blood sugar spikes. Medications that rely on a slower, more controlled release of glucose into the system to function optimally may be challenged by the quick sugar rush from fiberless juices. The absence of fiber means there's less to buffer the sugar load, potentially leading to a less stable blood glucose environment for your medications to work in. Medications whose efficacy is closely tied to the rate of glucose absorption, or those that help manage postprandial, meaning after-meal, hyperglycemia, are most likely to be affected. This includes some oral hypoglycemic agents and even insulin regimens that are timed with meals. A sudden surge in blood sugar from juice can make it harder for these medications to maintain their therapeutic targets. So what are some better alternatives that preserve that important fiber content? Well, eating whole vegetables, whether they're raw, steamed, roasted, or grilled, is a great option. If you prefer a liquid option, blending whole vegetables into a smoothie retains the fiber. This way, you get all the nutrients along with the fiber, promoting slower digestion and a more gentle impact on your blood sugar levels. If you do choose to drink vegetable juice, opt for very small portions, preferably from lower carbohydrate vegetables like leafy greens, and try to consume it as part of a balanced meal that includes protein and fat to further slow down that sugar absorption. Number 8, vegetables prepared with cheese or cream sauces. And finally, at number 8, we have vegetables prepared with cheese or cream sauces. Vegetables themselves are fundamentally healthy, but their benefits can really be overshadowed when they're prepared with heavy cheese or cream sauces. These additions significantly increase the calorie, saturated fat, and sometimes even the carbohydrate content of the dish. While they might be delicious, these rich preparations can affect how well your medication works and can complicate diabetes management, particularly when it comes to weight control and insulin sensitivity. Those added fats and dairy can interfere with how some diabetes medications work. For example, high-fat meals can slow down stomach emptying, which might alter the absorption profile of certain oral medications. More significantly, a diet rich in saturated fats can contribute to insulin resistance over time. This makes it harder for medications that enhance insulin sensitivity, like metformin or TZDs, to do their job effectively. The added calories also work against weight management goals, which are so crucial for improving insulin action. Certain medication classes raise particular concerns here. For individuals taking thiazolidinediones or TZDs or sulfonylureas, weight gain can be a potential side effect. Consuming vegetables laden with cheese or cream sauces contributes excess calories and unhealthy fats, which can exacerbate this issue. This makes it more challenging to maintain a healthy weight and, as a result, potentially reduces the overall benefits of the medication. But don't worry, healthier seasoning alternatives are plentiful and can make vegetables just as enjoyable. Opt for herbs and spices to add flavor without all those unhealthy fats and calories. A squeeze of lemon juice or a splash of vinegar can really brighten flavors. Light vinaigrettes made with olive oil and vinegar are a good choice too. And for a creamy texture, you might consider using plain, unsweetened Greek yogurt as a base for sauces, or explore avocado-based dressings, which provide healthy fats in moderation. These alternatives help keep vegetables a truly beneficial part of your diabetes management plan. Beneficial vegetables for diabetes management. Now let's shift our focus a bit and talk about beneficial vegetables for diabetes management. Focusing on non-starchy vegetables is really a cornerstone of effective diabetes management. These choices naturally support the action of your medications by providing essential nutrients without causing those sharp spikes in blood sugar. Think about vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, bell peppers, asparagus, mushrooms, and green beans. They're packed with vitamins, minerals, and fiber, all while being low in carbohydrates. Their minimal impact on glucose levels allows your diabetes medications to work more efficiently, helping you to maintain stable blood sugar throughout the day. Leafy greens such as spinach, kale, romaine lettuce, and Swiss chard are particularly fantastic. They boast an exceptionally low glycemic impact, which means they release glucose very slowly into your bloodstream. Furthermore, they are rich in nutrients like vitamin K, vitamin A, folate, and magnesium, all of which support your overall health. The high fiber content in leafy greens also promotes satiety, that feeling of fullness, which aids in weight management. And that's often a key goal in diabetes care. Incorporating more of these medication-friendly vegetables into your daily meals can be simple and delicious. How about adding a handful of spinach to your morning omelet or smoothie? Or enjoying a large salad filled with mixed greens and colorful non-starchy vegetables for lunch? You could also serve steamed asparagus or roasted broccoli as a side dish with your dinner. By making these vegetables the star of your plate, you not only enhance your nutrient intake, but also create a dietary environment where your diabetes medications can perform their best. Tips for minimizing vegetable medication interactions. So how can you manage the interplay between your diet and your diabetes medication? Well, it's key to optimal health. One effective strategy involves timing your vegetable consumption, particularly those that are higher in carbohydrates, in coordination with your medication schedule. While specific advice should always come from your doctor, generally speaking, avoiding very large portions of starchy vegetables right when you take medication designed to lower post-meal blood sugar can prevent overwhelming the drug's action. Spreading your carbohydrate intake more evenly throughout the day is often beneficial. Cooking methods also play a significant role in reducing potential interference. Opt for steaming, roasting, grilling, or stir-frying vegetables with minimal oil instead of deep frying or smothering them in heavy, high-fat sauces or excessive sodium. These healthier preparation techniques preserve the nutritional integrity of the vegetables and prevent the addition of components that could counteract your medication benefits or exacerbate side effects like weight gain or high blood pressure. And most importantly, always consult with your healthcare provider or a registered dietitian before making significant changes to your diet, especially when you are taking diabetes medications. They can provide personalized advice based on your specific health needs, your medication regimen, and how different foods might interact with your treatment plan. Open communication ensures that your dietary choices fully support your diabetes management goals. In conclusion, choosing the right vegetables and preparing them thoughtfully can significantly influence the effectiveness of your diabetes medications. While a diet rich in vegetables is absolutely vital for health, understanding these potential interactions helps you make informed decisions. This ensures your food choices support rather than hinder your treatment plan and your overall well-being. Did you find this information helpful? If so, please feel free to share this article with others who might benefit. If you have any experiences with food medication interactions or perhaps some questions, we'd love for you to comment below. And remember, always consult your healthcare provider before making any significant dietary changes.